Hi guys, it's Matthew here. Welcome back to another video on my channel today. And in today's video, guys, I have another really exciting ranking video for you all today. And we are going to be ranking all 21 Disney live action remakes from the worst to the best. Yes, guys, it's very crazy that we have had that many Disney live action remakes, as a matter of fact. And there's a couple of rules here. No, I am not including the 2017 version of Peach Dragon or The Sorcerer's Apprentice, because those are the only two that I'm excluding. Everything else, like the live action sequels, prequels, and all that, I will be including on this list, as a matter of fact. And I'm really excited to rank all of these movies, as a matter of fact. So let me know your ranking down below in the comment section, guys. But with that said, though, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, I do more than just movies and TV related stuff. I also do Lego related stuff, and I play video games. I do all sorts of stuff like that here on the channel, guys, and more like it. So if you guys like to watch anything like that on YouTube and want to show your love and support, go check out my channel, because there'll definitely be something in there for you to enjoy. But so yeah, guys, be sure to hit that like button as well as the red subscribe button, and most importantly, make sure you press the notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. Both all that being said, though, guys, enjoy the video. Let's get started here. Okay. So for me, easily coming in the last place at number 21, I'm going with the live-action Mulan. So now, if you guys have followed me for any determined amount of time on the channel, you guys know that I love Disney, and also you guys should probably know by now that Mulan is not one of my favorite Disney movies. Like, I am not a fan of Mulan. I don't think it's like a bad Disney movie per se, but it's kind of like a meh movie for me, because I'm not real crazy about this movie at all. I'm not a fan of the like warrior princess kind of story or feel for Disney. I feel like they should just stick with their like normal typical princesses for the most part, like Cinderella, Belle, Jasmine, all that and whatnot. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie. And another thing that really that this movie doesn't stick the landing for it is, even though that I'm not a fan of Mulan, to me the best part about the original Mulan is Cricky and Mushu, and they excluded both of them in this Disney live action remake. Everybody that I've talked to has said that they do not care for this movie at all, and it's because they removed Cricky and Mushu. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of Mulan. I'm not a fan of the live action remake either. I actually think this was a pretty bad movie. It's worse than the cartoon one, in my opinion. But yeah, it easily comes in the last place for me. Coming in at number 20, next up is Peter Pan and Wendy. So now, I actually really enjoy Peter Pan. It's not one of my favorites, but Peter Pan is actually one of them, is probably my favorite Disney movie from the Silver Age era of the Disney movies. And unfortunately, I did not think that this was a very good Disney adaptation of that movie. Like, yeah, I thought Neverland wasn't really well designed at all. The Jolly Roger, I didn't think looked very good either. And another thing is, I actually thought Jude Law was very miscasted in this role. Like I did not think he was a very good Captain Hook at all. Like I felt like they should have got somebody else to play Captain Hook. Like the Jolly Roger and Neverland in this movie, they looked nothing like the ones in the original animated film. I know when you convert this into a live action remake, you can't make everything look the same, but if we compare them to if we compare Neverland to like Lumiere and Cogsworth, like in the live action Beauty and the Beast, compared to how they made the genie in like live action form. Same thing with the palace and in the live action Aladdin. They don't look the same like as in the original, but they're able to like create something for the live action adaptation that's pretty darn close to the original. And the Jolly Roger and Neverland in this movie look nothing. They look nothing like compared to the original. It's like this is. It doesn't even feel like that. This is like a live action Disney adaptation of Peter Pan. Like this like it just looked like they took the Disney story from the original Peter Pan, and then they took the movie Pan and combined it together, and then they had like the Pan skin around it. Like I don't know if you guys have seen Pan, but I am not a fan of that movie. That's like a prequel to Peter Pan, and it doesn't even feel like and it's not a theatrical prequel. It's just another adaptation that was done by another studio that wasn't Disney. And in that particular movie, Hugh Jackman played Captain Hook, and that was another miscasted Captain Hook. But yeah. This movie just doesn't really feel like a good live action adaptation of the original Peter Pan, because this movie doesn't look very good. Like nothing in here looks close to like the original animated film, as a matter of fact. So this is another live action remake I'm not a fan of. And if I didn't think Mulan was like a meh movie, and if the live action adaptation wasn't so terrible, this one would easily be in last place. But it's safe from last place because of Mulan, as a matter of fact. Up next at number 19. I'm going to give it to Mufasa the Lion King. So now, this is the one I watched the most recently. I didn't go see this one in theaters. I actually watched this movie at home because I didn't want to go to the theater to see it, because this movie didn't really feel necessary to me. And after watching this movie, it also felt highly unnecessary. Like the only reason why they did a live action prequel to the live action Lion King was because the live action Lion King made $1 billion, and then they thought they could do the same with this movie. No, you can't. As a matter of fact, they after they did the live action Alice in Wonderland, they did a live action sequel to that movie because the live action Alice in Wonderland made $1 billion, and they thought they could do the same with that too, but it also failed because it didn't make $1 billion. Like I always say, if your movie makes $1 billion, you shouldn't do a sequel to it, because then it's likely not going to make $1 billion. Learn these lessons, Hollywood. And yes, I just thought like a whole prequel based around like like Scar and Mufasa wasn't really necessary because their whole story was already explained, and they thought this whole story was worth wasting the money on to do a movie out of it just so people can see what happened before. And I'm all like, no, you shouldn't have done that because you're not gonna make a profit out of this movie, and it's just stupid. Like I knew from the get go when I saw the preview for this movie, I'm all like, Alice Through the Looking Glass did not make $1 billion. Its predecessor made $1 billion. So what makes you think? So what makes you think you could do a live action Lion King that made $1 billion in 2019, and then 5 years later in 2024 you could do like a live action prequel to that movie to make it do $1 billion? Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I just feel like these problems with sequels and prequels have not been fixed, and people keep saying learn these lessons, Hollywood, and they never really learn their lessons. Like, they shouldn't do a sequel unless it's for like a necessary purpose, or if the fans want a sequel. Though those should be the only two times that you do a sequel or a prequel. If it's necessary or if the fans want it, you should do that. But otherwise, do not touch this movie at all. Like, if your movie makes $1 billion, do not try to touch it with a sequel so that I can try to make $1 billion. Like the first joke, going out of the Disney area for a second, the first Joker made $1 billion, and then that second one that came out the exact same year, that also bombed at the box office. Like, I think the only two movie franchise where the first one has made $1 billion and its sequel has made $1 billion, the only time that I can think of that's happened was with Frozen. The first Aquaman made $1 billion, and yet again, the sequel didn't make $1 billion either. I'm just throwing some examples out there as a matter of fact. So yeah, this went into an Alice Through the Looking Glass case scenario with this movie, because this movie just wasn't necessary. This is like a forgettable movie for like the most part, and so yeah, I just do not care for this movie at all whatsoever. But speaking of Alice Through the Looking Glass, next up at number 18 is Alice Through the Looking Glass, as a matter of fact. So now with this movie in particular, I would put this one below Mufasa, but to be honest, I actually get more enjoyment out of this movie, because I actually think that this movie is watchable, and Mufasa isn't really watchable to me. I really enjoy. I liked how they tried to do something different with Alice in Wonderland, because the original Alice in Wonderland did not make $1 billion at all. I mean, I do like Johnny Depp's performance as the Mad Hatter, and I liked how he reprised his role, because he was terrific in the first one. But yeah, I just said it. I just said it when I was talking about Mufasa. this movie is not necessary at all. They only did it because the live action Alice in Wonderland made $1 billion, and I just did not care for. And yeah, this movie's okay for the most part, but for the most part, this is one that I'll probably like never really watch again, as a matter of fact. So, and it comes in at number 18 on my list. Coming in at number 17 now is going to be Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, the second Maleficent movie, and I didn't really think a sequel was necessary for this movie either, but at least they didn't do this for like in an absurd purpose, because the first Maleficent actually did not make $1 billion. So it's not like they made this movie just so they can try to make like another $1 billion from like the exact same movie. So yes, and this movie is more entertaining to me than all of the movies that I've talked about so far on this list. Like with this movie in particular, it kind of retreads a lot of like different stories that Disney has done in the past, because Maleficent's not really the villain here. The Queen was, because I don't know if you guys remember this. For those of you that haven't seen it in a while, like in this movie specifically, the Queen in this movie frames Maleficent for the crime. So Maleficent was the one that did not commit the crime. It was the Queen that committed the crime, and she recruits this army to go fight and kill Maleficent, and yes, that's like that same like subplot or like trope that they've been doing has been repeated in a couple of other Disney movies, like one person that everybody thinks is good would frame the one that everybody thought was bad but is good now, so they could go back to being a villain. And yes, so yeah, that's the biggest downfall for this movie for me, is that it retreads some of the subplots and tropes that Disney has put in their movies. And so yes, this one comes in at number 7 for me. If there wasn't like a whole lot of retreads in this movie, I would probably put it a lot higher, though, as a matter of fact. At number 16, I have 102 Dalmatians. So now, as you guys can tell, aside from Cruella, because I've not talked about Cruella yet, we will get to that later in the video. I am not a fan of the prequels and the sequels that Disney has done to their live action remakes, but aside from Cruella, out of every one of them that they've done, 102 Dalmatians is the one I find the least frustrating, because the live action 101 Dalmatians was actually the very first Disney live action remake that they ever did, and that came out back in 1966, and I really and so it's not, and that movie didn't make $1 billion. So this is another big example of them. This is another example of their predecessor not making $1 billion, and then they didn't just do a sequel to try to make like another big profit. And so yeah, it's another one of those scenarios that I can compare to Maleficent. And what I really enjoy the most about this movie is that it pulls away like the 101 Dalmatians plot. I know that's what makes I know that's why the movie is called 101 Dalmatians, but I like how they tried to do something different compared to like the other sequels that are on this list as well. And what I really like about this movie is the ending, is like the whole final battle with Cruella, where she gets baked into a cake, and the Dalmatians are just like hitting buttons and working together, and just and just like baking her into a cake. I thought that was pretty funny, and that's definitely my favorite part of this entire movie. But this wasn't a really necessary sequel, but it improved a little bit. It's definitely the best one. It's definitely one of the better movies out of the live-action sequels and prequels that they have done, though. Up next, at number 15, I'm going with the live-action Alice in Wonderland. So now, this movie in particular gets a lot of hate and criticism. Like, personally, I don't hate this movie that much. Like, I like Johnny Depp's performance as the Mad Hatter. So I really do like his performance as the Mad Hatter. Like, there's a lot of people in this movie. Like let me talk and find out at the same time. Like, but yeah, my biggest gripe with this movie is that it wasn't like a theatrical live action adaptation. It was like a sequel, and then they did it in live action with like a bunch of weird stuff. I mean, I don't have a problem with them doing that, but I kind of felt like they should have just done like a live action adaptation for this movie. But yeah, there's a lot of people in here though. Like I just mentioned, you have Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter. You have Hella Bonham Carter as the Queen of Hearts. You have Anne Hathaway as the White Queen, and you have Alan Rickman voicing the Caterpillar. So yeah, you have a couple of big names in here, you have like quite a few names in this movie, and the names are what, and the amount of famous people that are in this movie is what prevents this movie from going down further, as a matter of fact. But yeah, as I said, the reason why it's this low on this list is because I kind of wish they just did a live action adaptation for this movie. I mean, this movie's good, but I would have want to see like a live action adaptation of the theatrical animated movie, not like a sequel like this. Up next at number 14, aside from Snow White, this was probably the one that got the most controversy, and that is the live action Pinocchio. Now, I see a lot of people put this one lower on their list, and I actually do not know why a lot of people criticize this movie. Like I am not a Pinocchio fan. Like I'm not real crazy about the original Pinocchio. That's like another meh horror movie. Not horror movie. That's like another meh Disney movie for me. So I'm not a fan of Pinocchio. But I really like this live action adaptation that they did to the original, and I really enjoyed it because the original one was like very dark and weird, and I feel like what this live action adaptation did is that it took everything I thought was weird about the original Pinocchio, and then they like made it better. And Tom Hanks's performance as Geppetto, I thought was really good. And also, this movie is actually directed by Robert Zemeckis. So yes, Tom Hanks is in this movie, and it's directed by the same guy that directed Forrest Gump. And everybody should say, wow, this should be a great movie. Because everybody likes Tom Hanks and everybody likes Forrest Gump. So, and then just all of a sudden, you get the main star is Tom Hanks, and the director is Robert Zemeckis, and this movie sits at like a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. And so I just think that that's a little funny, because a lot of people obsess over Forrest Gump and Tom Hanks, as a matter of fact. But yeah, this is still not like one of the best live action Disney remakes. I will 100% agree with that. But yeah, it's just another one this is just another live action adaptation that I've enjoyed more than the ones that I put below it. But yeah, this is still not like a great live action adaptation or anything. Up next at number 13, I am going with Maleficent, as a matter of fact. So now, this is a very well crafted movie, I will say, but again, this is not like a real theatrical live action remake of Sleeping Beauty. I mean, I like the whole idea of giving like Maleficent a little backstory on like how she became who she is and why she's like this evil witch and stuff like that. I mean, I like that whole concept, but again, just like the live action Alice in Wonderland, this is telling it from a different perspective, and it's not like an actual live action adaptation of Sleeping Beauty. So yeah, therefore I can almost not call this like a great live action adaptation. And I mean Maleficent is great in it as Maleficent, but yeah, this movie in general, I felt like it needed like a theatrical live action remake of Sleeping Beauty, and that's just not what we got. And in my opinion, that's what they should have done. And to be honest, guys, at this point, I would be heavenly annoyed if they announced a third Maleficent, because the sequel to this one wasn't really necessary, in my personal opinion, as a matter of fact. Up next, at number 12, I am going with the live-action Dumbo. So now, with Dumbo, I did not grow up watching the live-action Dumbo, so I do not have a big attachment to the live-action Dumbo, but I did watch this movie before the live-action adaptation even came out, and to be honest, I actually thought that this movie was better. Like, from here on out, guys, I would say I find these are the ones that I find like good. The ones below it I find like bad to like okay, as a matter of fact. So yeah. The live action Dumbo I thought was pretty good. Like, the original one is only like an hour long, and this one became 2 hours long, which I actually thought was really clever that they did, because instead of just doing like the retread of the story just about like the elephant and like his mother working at like a circus with a mouse, they did something a little different with this movie, because because like I know I said I don't like it when they change up the story a little bit, like I said with Maleficent and stuff like that. But the thing is, they still kept the original story as like the main plot, and on top of that, they came up with a different side plot that involved like a father, his two children, and like the ringmaster. So yes, it felt like they did do a live action adaptation on it, but they added like a layer to it to make it like more enjoyable than the original one. That's just my opinion though. If you guys disagree with me, that is a-okay, but this is my opinion, and I really enjoyed the live action Dumbo. I thought it was pretty cute, but again, but Dumbo is not like one of my favorite Disney movies, so otherwise I would put this movie higher up if it was, but unfortunately it only lands at number 12 as a matter of fact. Up next at number 11, I have the first live action 101 Dalmatians. And with this movie in particular, this is a very fun, family-friendly comedy in my opinion. And I really enjoy, like, I'm a dog lover and I'm a big animal lover. So I enjoy this movie. I know it's very evil when Cruella kidnaps the puppies and wants to turn them into a fur coat, but regardless, the way that Glenn Close plays this character and the way that Cruella is designed in the cartoon 101 Dalmatians, she's a really good, well-crafted villain. And in this live-action adaptation, Glenn Close plays this character really well. And I like how she portrays this character. And the Dalmatians in this movie are really well done. I really do like Jeff Daniels' performance in this movie. Like you even get Hugh Laurie in here as one of Cruella's henchmen, and I thought he played that character really well, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this is a good movie overall, as a matter of fact. But these next 10 movies I actually think are a little bit better than this one, as a matter of fact. Bringing us into the top 10 now. At number 10, I have Cruella. So now, I said I am not a fan of the Disney live-action sequels or prequels, but I really enjoyed Cruella. And let me explain why this movie is better than the prequels and the sequels that I put all the way at the bottom. They did not take the original story from 101 Dalmatians and put like an added story on it and put like a prequel skin based around it. They actually told in an original story that made sense for 101 Dalmatians. Like that, like it didn't feel like they did that with Mufasa. It just felt like they took the original Lion King story and then they just added Mufasa's backstory as like the big subplot, and then they put like a prequel skin like around the whole thing. And in Cruella here, they didn't do that at all. They actually told a story about Cruella and how she became Cruella. Like there was nothing in here about the Dalmatians or any of like the good guys that were in the original 101 Dalmatians. Like they took all of that out. They made this. They focused on Cruella and made a prequel story about her on how she became Cruella. And I don't remember the character's name, but she went by a different name before she became Cruella. But then sadly, that person died. She died, but she didn't actually die. Everybody thought that her alter ego, that she died, but that was her alter ego, and she didn't actually die. So she was just known as Cruella for the rest of her life. So yeah. That's how you do a Disney live-action prequel to a Disney movie. Like, to me, they did it right. This movie did it right. They did it the best as well. And yeah, to be honest, guys, I keep hearing that there's a sequel in the works. And I'm kind of curious to see what they cook up. Like, and I hope they don't take any of the original plot points from the original movie, because that would be stupid. In my opinion, that's just not a good idea at all. And yes, this is the best Disney live action prequel / sequel in my opinion. So yes. And this movie easily comes in at number 10 in my ranking. At number 9, I have the live-action Little Mermaid. So now, this was the last one. I think this was... I'm trying to remember when Pinocchio came out, but I think this was... No, Mufasa was the last Disney live-action remake we've gotten before we got Snow White and Lilo and Stitch. So yes, but before Mufasa, we had the live-action Little Mermaid, and this movie I actually thought was really well done. This movie did it perfectly, in my opinion. Like, I know a lot of people were mad that they chose a black actress to play Ariel and not a white actress. But personally, that didn't bother me that Ariel had, like, a different skin tone, as a matter of fact. And Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, she plays the character really well in this movie. And I really enjoyed this movie. And most recently, this is one of the better Disney live-action remakes we have gotten in the past 5 years, in my opinion, because most of the ones that we have gotten recently have been clear down at the bottom. But I'm happy that they're making some sort of comeback here, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this movie was really good in my opinion. Up next at number 8, I'm going with the live action Jungle Book, as a matter of fact. So now, this is a visually stunning live action remake, and I know a lot of you guys have this movie in your top 5 at least, but in my opinion, this is not like a top 5 Disney live action remake. In my personal opinion, this movie could have been done just a smidge better. Like I didn't really like how they made King Louis so significantly bigger. Like, I just thought that was like not a necessary thing for this movie. And I do also like Bill Murray's performance as Baloo. Ben Kingsley's performance as Bagheera is pretty cool. And you even have Scarlett Johansson voicing Kaa and Shere Khan voicing, not Shere Khan, Idris Elba voicing Shere Khan, and they both do a really good job. Christopher Walken also does a really good job as voicing King Louis, but in my personal opinion, he did not need to be so gigantic. They should have just made him the size that he was, like in the original Jungle Book, as a matter of fact. So we can have and all the monkeys in this movie should have been talking, because I felt like if they could have recreated that whole scene of "I want to be like you" in that way, shape, or form in live action, I thought that could have been a very big win for this soundtrack. But they didn't. But they chose to take a different route, and I'm not mad that they went with this route, and I'm not saying that I don't like it that they took this route. If you're gonna make a Disney live action remake, you need to make it as close to the original as possible, because that's what a Disney live action remake is. It's a remake of the animated film, but it's all done in live action. And when you change something significantly noticeable like that, it doesn't really feel like it's a recreation of that particular scene or thing from the original animated movie. So yeah, that'd be the only nitpick I would say about this movie. But other than that, this movie is well deserving of its praise, as a matter of fact, and I really enjoy it, as a matter of fact. Up next at number 7, I'm going with Christopher Robin. I wanted to put this one in the top 5 so bad, but after seeing these two movies, I had to put them next up on my list. And with Christopher Robin, I would say the best thing about this movie, there's two really good things that I like about this movie. One, Ewan McGregor's performance, and two, the whole story, this whole Winnie the Pooh story that's done in live action form. It's not like a live action recreation of one of the animated Winnie the Pooh movies that they did. It's not that at all. They created an original Winnie the Pooh story and turned it in, instead of doing it in animated form, they did it in a live action adaptation, which I thought was really well done. And I think all of the Pooh and Friends characters look really well in this movie. And yes, this is a really good movie, but unfortunately the next 6 movies on this list I had to put above it, though. At number 6, I'm going with the live action Lilo and Stitch. We finally got to one out of the 2 newest additions to the live action remakes, as a matter of fact. And I really like Stitch as a Disney character. My sister really likes Stitch. She is a Stitch fanatic, and she lives in Colorado, but I went to my theater and saw this movie on opening night, and she went to her theater as well and saw it on opening night, and we both really enjoyed this movie. And it is a very well shot movie. It's a very well crafted movie, too. And also, what really brings this movie down is that Captain Gantu did not show up in this movie because of the low budget that this movie had. And the reason why this movie had such a low budget was because it was originally going to go straight to Disney Plus. It was going to be a Disney Plus original, and they decided not to do that. and this movie is likely gonna make $1 billion. Like, I will not be shocked. I will be shocked if this movie doesn't even make $800 to $900 million. Like, I think most likely this movie will make $1 billion, but if it doesn't, I will be shocked if this movie doesn't reach $800 or more than that, at least, as a matter of fact. But now bringing us into the top 5, reaching our heavy hitters now. At number 5, I have the live-action Snow White, as a matter of fact. I know this is a wildly controversial opinion because a lot of people did not like the live-action Snow White, and a lot of people thought it was controversy on how they did the dwarfs, as a matter of fact. But in my opinion, I didn't have a problem on how they did the dwarfs at all. Like, lots of people were ranting that they should have little people play the dwarfs, and I'm all like, hold your horses, people. What if they didn't do what if they didn't do dwarfs? What if they didn't hire like actual little people to play the dwarfs because they couldn't find enough little people to play the dwarfs, and so they thought the best thing to do was to CGI them. And I did not have a problem with this at all, because you also don't know the reason why they didn't cast little people to play the dwarfs. But aside from that, everything about this movie I just thought was so incredible. It was visually stunning. I like Gal Gadot's performance as the evil queen, and I like Rachel Zegler's performance as Snow White as well. She recently became one of my biggest celebrity crushes right now after watching this movie, and this movie is very well done in my personal opinion, as a matter of fact. And I'm sad that this movie bombed at the box office, and because I felt like this movie deserved more than what it got, as a matter of fact. But yeah, the live-action Lilo and Stitch and the live-action Snow White are actually two of my favorite movies of the year so far, and I am not kidding. Both of these movies are really well done, in my opinion. Next up, at number 4, I have the live-action Lady and the Tramp. The Disney Plus premiere, when Disney Plus first started, as a matter of fact. This was the very first Disney Plus original thing that we have gotten. And this movie was very well done. And what I like about this movie is that they used actual dogs to make this movie. The dogs in this movie were not CGI. They used actual dogs to film this movie, and they did a very well job in this movie, especially when the dogs are talking. Even though in the real world dogs don't talk, they did a very good job at making this making the dogs talk. Like you even get Tessa Thompson as the voice of Lady is really well done. You even get Sam Elliott voicing one of the dogs in here. He does a very good job as well. Like, everything in this movie is crafted so well compared to the original. And I kind of wish now that they put this movie out in theaters, because I feel like if this movie gone to theaters, this movie would have made so much money. This movie would have made a decent amount of money. And I'm kind of sad right now that they didn't put this movie out in theaters. They put it straight to Disney Plus, as a matter of fact. And yes, Yes, Lady and the Tramp is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, and I really enjoyed this movie for what it delivered. And I would say this is probably like the original animated Lady and the Tramp is like my second favorite Disney movie from the Silver Age era, as a matter of fact. Up next at number 3, I have the live action Cinderella. This movie was beautiful. This movie was beautifully shot. The script was very well done in this movie. The acting in this movie is really good as well. Lily James's performance as Cinderella I thought was really good as well. The costume designs, the set designs for this movie were also really well done as well. And in my opinion, I agree with most people. This is one of the best Disney live action remakes that they have ever done. And I'm happy that they have not done a sequel to this movie or a prequel, because that would have been awful and this movie would have been ruined, because this movie was so great. And yes, I love this movie, and I love it just as much as the next two movies we are going to talk about, because at number 2, I'm going with the live action Aladdin. This is another one. The script in this movie was very well done. This movie was beautifully shot. The acting in this movie was very well done as well. Will Smith gives an incredible performance as the genie. Mena Massoud, the guy that plays Aladdin's really good as well. You got Naomi Scott in here as Jasmine. Like, yeah, this is just another visually stunning and incredible animated movie that they have done, live action remake that they have done. And this one has got a lot of mixed reviews. This is one of the Disney live action remakes that had a lot of different opinions. Like, so many people have said that it's good, and so many people have said it's not worth watching. And yes, this movie is really well done in my opinion. But for me, easily coming in the first place in my ranking, I'm giving it to the live action Beauty and the Beast. I said it before, guys, the live action Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie. And my top 3 favorite Disney movies are the live action Cinderella, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast. And the live action adaptations of all 3 of those movies are done so incredibly and beautifully done, as a matter of fact. And I'm happy that I could say the same thing with the live action Beauty and the Beast, because there's a lot of famous people in this movie, and they all play their parts so well, in my opinion. This movie is beautifully crafted as well. You got Emma Watson in here as Belle. You got Dan Stevens as the Beast. You have Luke Evans as Gaston, Josh Gad as LeFou, Lumiere as Ewan McGregor, Clogsworth as Ian McKellen, and you even have Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts in this movie. Like out of all the Disney live-action remakes that we have had, the live-action Beauty and the Beast probably has the most big names out of any of them. And they play their parts so well, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of Beauty and the Beast, and I'm very huge about this live action remake, in my opinion. The story is very well done as well. And yeah, like I said, I like my top 3 all pretty much the same, because They do it so well, in my opinion. And yes, guys, this one easily comes in the first place in my ranking, and it probably will not change. My top three: the live-action Cinderella, the live-action Aladdin, and the live-action Beauty and the Beast, will probably never change if you were to ask me, as a matter of fact. Phew! I am hot and I am thirsty, guys, because this was a big and a very long ranking to do, as a matter of fact. But yeah, there's my ranking of all 21 Disney live-action remakes, as a matter of fact. Be sure to share your ranking down below in the comment section. And again, my list is not the right list. It's just my list, as a matter of fact. And I would also love to see your list as well, guys. But yeah, guys, including this ranking, we actually had 3 big rankings this month because we got Final Destination Bloodlines, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and most recently we got the live-action Lilo and Stitch. And because we got those 3 movies this month, I had to put out a ranking for all 3 of those, as a matter of fact. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say, and that wraps up this video, guys. Be sure you hit that like button as well as that red subscribe button, but most importantly, make sure you press the notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. But with all that being said, though, guys, I'm going to go get Brittany back to more videos, because more videos are on the way sooner rather than later, as a matter of fact, guys. But with that said, though, guys, take care, drink water, and stay safe, and I will see you all in the very next video. Bye!